We have to be brutally vigilant about any sort of attack on freedom of expression and on our sovereignty. These two things are really important, and they go together. So at the moment, our sovereignty is heavily compromised, and it's not by small boats. It's by vague laws, and at the same time, we are projecting the idea that we are a repressive society. I don't think that's our intention. I don't think we are. But I think stories like the arrest of Ernest Moret of La Fabrique yesterday, detained for 24 hours by the immigration police, simply a French publisher who attempted to attend the London Book Fair and was interrogated at length about whether or not he supported Monsieur Macron. This is nonsensical. It's produced a series of letters from MEPs across the board, asking whether or not the French government was complicit in this act of political intimidation. Was France outsourcing its media crackdown to the UK? These are not the questions we should be asked. We shouldn't put ourselves in a position where we can be asked those questions. This was an inappropriate detaining. This fellow was detonation. No, this was this is inappropriate, utterly inappropriate, giggles aside. In the same way as I think it's inappropriate to put into laws things which we hope will never be used. Things like the Stormont Brake. Putting into law a hope that we will never question an EU law. This is absurd. Putting into law the hope that we will never have to question a Rule 39 from the European Court of Human Rights. Again, absurd. Putting into law ISDSs. These things confound our sovereignty. Whatever guff, for example, Kemi Badenoch or Suella Braverman have to provide. I don't think, for example, that Kemi Badenoch has the slightst idea what an ISDS is. It's just another acronym she can barely master. But the terminology of these things is designed to confuse, not enlighten. These things are a get-out clause, and the problem with get-out clauses is that at some point in the future somebody will use them. Somebody will get out, and it's inappropriate. In the same way, quizzing a perfectly normal, respectable individual who's attending a book fair for nearly 24 hours is an inappropriate use of our time. Monitoring these people, I have no problem with that. But quizzing them, it just sends out all the wrong signals, and it suggests that we are becoming as repressive a state as we look over and claim that Russia is. I think we're right to claim that Russia is a repressive state, but that means we must make every effort not to be ourselves. And so much of it's worth looking at some of the claims that are being made about Russia at the moment by the West, by the Times, for example. They are absurd. The idea that Russia is becoming a military dictatorship. Russia isn't becoming a military dictatorship. It might become a sort of a personal autocracy, But it's not a military dictatorship. And you don't find soldiers stationed down the street across Moscow. That is what a military dictatorship would be. It is not. And I think we're bandying words around because they sound good, not because they have meaning. And we need to stop doing that with urgency. Because if we start using words that we don't understand, Kemi Badenoch, come on, or acronyms that we don't understand, then that way lies confusion, and that way lies opportunity for the criminal.